2024 has been the year of Kendrick Lamar. He's been on a run like no one else has this year, and it seems like he's not quite finished yet. It seems like an album announcement could come quite literally any day now, so I decided it was the perfect time to go back into his catalog and rank all of his albums from worst to best, from Section 80 all the way to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Along the way, I will be giving you the best and worst songs on each project, and before I get started, I need to preface this by saying this is just all in my humble little opinion, and I already know my rankings are not going to please a lot of people, so just take them with a grain of salt. And with that being said, here's every single Kendrick Lamar album ranked. His first actual album, Section 80, sees Kendrick right before he hits his peak as he dives into multiple different angles from women's issues, drug abuse, and even conspiracies about the government. Section 80 provides a taste of what was to come. The best song on this album is Hold Up. I enjoy the vibes on this track. The storytelling is on par for Kendrick standards, but the production, along with just the feel of the song, makes it stand out to me on this project. The worst song on this album is No Makeup. I was never really a fan of the song. It's just kind of there. Compared to the rest of the album, it's just a meh for me. Untitled Unmastered consists of 8 demo tracks from the Pimp A Butterfly era that never actually made the album. These projects were never actually supposed to see the light of day, but it's actually kind of ironic how these demos actually slap more than some rappers' actual albums. The best song on this project is Untitled 06. I love everything about this song, from the production to the subject matter, that you don't need to change anything about yourself to find love. Just a great track. It gets me in a great mood. The worst song on this project is Untitled 01. This is probably going to be a hot take. I mean, the lyrics and delivery are actually pretty good, but I just can't get past that intro. It's weird to me. Every time I listen to this album, I just don't like it. I feel like I accidentally clicked on one of those ads on Stream East every time I listen to this song. It puts me in a very uncomfortable mood, and it's just weird. After taking a 5-year hiatus from releasing albums, Kendrick Lamar gave us Mr. Morale in 2022 to mixed opinions from the general public. However, after his beef with Drake, we've seen a more positive reception to this album, and I'm glad it's getting the flowers it deserves. This album never deserved the hate it got, and although it's not on par with some of Kendrick's best work, it's a great listen. The best song on this project is Mirror. From the beat to the subject matter, this is a fantastic song. Kendrick tells us that he chooses himself over being the savior of hip-hop over some fire production that makes me want to put this track on repeat every time it comes on. The worst song on this album is Rich Interlude. Choosing the worst song was honestly kind of hard for this album. There's no skips whenever I decide to listen. It actually took me a little bit to decide. But I chose to go with the Rich Interlude solely for the fact that Kodak Black has a majority of the time on this track, and I'm not really a fan of his inclusion on this album for obvious reasons. And when you look at Lamar's morals and the messaging on his projects, the inclusion of Kodak just feels kinda odd. Now hold on. I already know I'm going to get a lot of heat for not putting this at the 1 or 2 spot, but like I said, this is just my little humble opinion, and my opinion doesn't hold any weight. This is my ranking, and I simply enjoy Good Kid Mad City and Damn more than this album, but that doesn't mean To Pimp a Butterfly is a bad project by any means. It's a great one that delves into a lot of subject matter from self-love to racism. This album has a lot of meaning. We've literally seen the song Alright become an anthem during Black Lives Matter protests. Having To Pimp a Butterfly at 3 is no shade to the project at all. These 3 albums hold a special kind of weight in the sphere of hip-hop. The best song on this album is Wesley's Theory. The jazz-infused production we get on this song is fantastic, and if you delve below the surface of this song, the track gets into some heavy subject matter about American companies and institutions exploiting black artists and creators for profit. It's a great album intro that perfectly encapsulates what you're about to listen to. I put none for the worst songs on this album because I couldn't really find a bad song on this project. There's not one song that stands out to me as the worst on this album. Sure, there's some songs that are better than others, but there really wasn't one that stood out to me, so I put none for this category. His biggest album commercially, Damn sees Kendrick tell a story from front to back, literally. You can listen to this album in order or reverse, and it's supposed to tell two different stories. Kendrick actually released a version of Damn with a reverse tracklist. Filled with bangers, introspective pieces, and fantastic storytelling, Damn is one of the best projects we've had in the last decade or so, and it actually won Kendrick a Pulitzer Prize. The best song on this album is Duckworth. This is my favorite Kendrick Lamar song, an impeccable example of storytelling. Duckworth dives into the stories of Lamar's father and Top Dog, who Kendrick was signed to until 2022. Everything from this song, to the samples and Kendrick's delivery, is masterful. There's a reason a lot of people believe Kendrick is the greatest, and songs like Duckworth are why. The worst song on this album is God. Picking the worst song on Damn was actually pretty tough. I enjoy every single song on this album, but God is the one I enjoy the least out of the 14 songs. It's not a bad track or anything, it just doesn't compete with the rest of the album. My favorite Kendrick album, there's not much to say about Good Kid Mad City that hasn't already been said. A masterful execution of storytelling, Good Kid Mad City has it all. And if you're a fan of hip hop, there's at least one song on this album that you'll enjoy. The best song on this album is Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. If I was going off pure enjoyment, I would have picked Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, but when I said I was picking the best song, I meant the best song on the album. This track sees Kendrick break down stories from his time in the streets, why he pulled away from gang life, and the struggles he went through during this time period. It's a super engaging, multi-part story that shows what Lamar is capable of when he decides to use his pen. The worst song on this project is Real. Similar to No Makeup, this song never really stood out to me, and especially on a project like Good Kid Mad City, this song just doesn't really compare to the rest. Also, just over the span of time when just looking at people's rankings of this album, a lot of people put Compton as the worst. I will not take any disrespect from Compton. That is a great song. I love that song. If you managed to stick around this far, thank you. I know a lot of you are not going to agree with my rankings, but I hope I justified my decisions well enough for you. You guys voted for this video, and I hope I can do more polls in the future so I can make the content you all want to see. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter, I'm pretty active there, and give me your rankings in the comments. I will be sure to respond. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the flip side.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. Motherfucking boss.